What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. So tonight I am so excited because me, Josh, and Luke are all gonna go see Thunderbolts tonight. And if you saw my top 5 most anticipated movies of 2025 video, you would know that Thunderbolts was number 3 on that list. So I am super excited to see this movie. Every review I've heard has been pretty positive. People are saying this is a winner for the MCU. This is an MCU movie we've needed. It's one of the best post-Endgame MCU movies. It's a top 10 MCU movie for some people. Yelena, my favorite MCU character, is back in this film. Looks like she's gonna be the main character. And Bucky, another one of my favorite characters, is gonna be in this film as well. Looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. A good story about family and redemption. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see this film. So I'm gonna head over to Josh's, and then later tonight, we will go see Thunderbolts, and after, give our reviews. See y'all there. Hey Josh, what are we gonna go see right now?
The Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts?
Or as I like to call it, the Sons of Zebedee.
The Sons of Zebedee. That's clever. That's clever. Do you have any pre-thoughts going into this, Josh?
No, I don't really have any pre-thoughts. But yeah, I'm excited for Thunderbolts. I think
We do. Okay, Josh.
Yes, sir.
So what did we just get out of seeing, my friend?
So we just got out of seeing Thunderbolts. But on a real note, we did just get out of seeing Thunderbolts.
Wait, hold up. Real quick. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert for sure.
Okay, there it is, you guys. Okay, continue, Josh.
The first part of my review will not be a spoiler, but the second part of the review will be a spoiler. So if you want to just watch this first part, just watch this first part. So this is another one of those films that Marvel is releasing under Kevin Feige's supervision. And in comparison to the rest of the Marvel films that have dropped post-Endgame, I am happy to say I think that this is probably top 2, top 3 favorite film post-Endgame that has dropped. And you have to think that's really significant because I think there's only probably been 3 good films in my opinion that have dropped post-Endgame. And this is one of those films that's really dang good. You had Shang-Chi, which I thought was okay. You had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is just peak. And then you have this movie, Thunderbolts, which is a very strong showing from Marvel. And it's honestly it's such a good film. The pacing is really well done. The characters are very well developed. You know, they introduce a new character into the mix with the character Bob. Yeah, and with Bob, him being a new character, he's somebody that, you know, you want to know a little bit more about, like, who is this generic guy, Bob? And I think it's really funny because you watch the trailers and you watch this film, this is exactly how he's introduced, is like how he is in the trailers, where he's just this random out of the blue guy. He's not this significant, you know, crazy guy. He's just like the most random normo that you've ever seen in your life. But you come to find out so much more about Bob and all the baggage that Bob is carrying. And the film does a pretty unique way, and I think it's like the coolest take on it that I've seen in a minute. It has really great action scenes. The fight choreography is really well done. I think even though there's a lot of characters in here that are coming from Disney Plus shows, you don't really need to even watch the Disney Plus shows to get the gist of what these people are doing.
They pretty much sum it up.
Yeah, they pretty much give you a pretty good summary.
If you want to get a deeper understanding, but
So
honestly, most of those shows aren't even worth it, in my opinion.
So I was going to say, you don't need to watch the Disney Plus shows to understand this. I think that this is actually a good thing for Marvel, them doing it this way.
Yes,
because for me, I don't watch the shows. I don't have any interest in watching the shows. Why would I ever watch She-Hulk? No, joking. I just won't. But I just like what they do here. They set up a pretty good antagonist. They set up a very good, like, surprise antagonist. All across this film, it's just a very solid film. The humor's, you know, it's in that Marvel vein. Yeah, it has a little bit of a different humor flair here and there that you don't really see in a Marvel film. But generally, the film does have that Marvel humor flair, the geeky stuff, but really good. So as far as for my non-spoiler part, I'd say that's what I really, really like about this film. And now I'm going to get to the spoilers. There's one issue I do have with this film. I wouldn't say it's a big issue. I'd take it back. Not a big issue. but it's an issue nonetheless. They introduced this interesting standoff of the anti-heroes. Yelena, the ghost.
Ghost, yes. Or Ava.
Taskmaster.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with
John
this.
Walker.
Let's see if I'm right.
And Bob.
And Bob.
And Bob. They kill off one of those characters like very early on. Like incredibly early. It's so shocking to me. It actually took me back for a second. Like I was gasping. I was like, did they just like? Surely there's no way that she's dead. That Taskmaster just dies, which is wild. Like it's like in the first 20 minutes of the film, this character is dead. Like the whole setup, and I mean that was actually really cool because it subverted my expectations. But I think from a comic book perspective, if I understand the Taskmaster correctly, the Taskmaster is supposed to be this character that just has infinite adaptation to fighting style, and she dies immediately within
to
combat.
be fair, it was by ghosts.
But the thing is, she died immediately in combat. And I don't know how. I think you either got to delay that death a little bit more, or you got to figure out a different way to do that. In general, I think that could have been handled a little bit better. But aside from that, this whole dynamic with Bob, let me talk about this. This film is really an analysis on mental health.
Yes.
It's an analysis on mental health, but I even think it's something deeper. I think it's the big theme about this film is that community is so important.
Amen.
That you can't do life alone. That if you try to do life alone, you're making life that much harder for yourself. And when you have all this baggage that you carry, because we all come from such different pasts, and each one of us has experienced something traumatic to some effect in our lives. Maybe we haven't, but no matter what you've gone through in your past, if you bottle that up and you just keep it inside, it'll eat away at you slowly, and to the point in which you become so unrecognizable from your prior self. So in order to not get to that state, and in order to really, I don't even say get better, but it's really just to get to improve, you really got to embrace the community that is around you. And I love what they did here. They picked a bunch of outcasts, and the outcasts become a community. So all the people who don't have community now have community. And that's a pretty full circle way of going about things, and I think it's beautiful. And I think that's one of the reasons I really, really like this film. And I mean, you talk about the mental health stuff with Bob. It's very obvious. Very obvious. It's like they don't even try to hide it. But honestly, it's pretty cool. It's to go into the whole thing about how everything I basically just said, Bob in a character. So I mean, the theme is killer, and really it's just a cool film. I really like the film, and I like the fact that they're called the New Avengers, because honestly, if I would be interested, because Sentry, right? Like let's say he's actually Sentry, not Bob. Sentry feels like he would be impossible to beat. Dude literally feels like he would destroy Thanos. Like I don't know how Thanos would beat a guy like Bob, like Sentry. Because that's just how strong they portray this guy. And so it's like, would God Emperor Doom beat Sentry? I imagine so, because God Emperor Doom could just do anything. But I would be interested to watch that fight, God Emperor Doom versus Sentry. And I'm hoping that when we get into Doomsday, and more importantly when we get into Secret Wars, that we'll start seeing more fights like that, because that'll be cool. I think that'll be cool. So yeah, that's all my thoughts for the film.
What would you give it out of 10, Josh?
Out of 10, I give it an 8 out of 10. I really like this film.
Yeah.
I really like this film. I mean, there's not much I can add to it, man. It's just a solid film. I love it.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I got. Ryan, we just got out of seeing Thunderbolts. What was your thoughts on this film, brother?
Guys, YouTube, I am beyond happy to say that I love this film. My favorite film of the year thus far. This film just was amazing. I'm gonna say this right now. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. And I'll go into my negatives. I'll get that out of the way first. The reason it's not a 10 is that there's some things that didn't exactly make sense to me. I don't know if you felt that way, Josh, but just like, how did they make Sentry so powerful? Like, where did they get, what was the serum they used? Where the heck did they get it? Like, how is he just so powerful?
Yeah, he's like very OP.
Maybe they'll discuss that or explain that later in another film. But it just kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. And then in the, spoiler alert, in the post-credits scene, when they're talking about, when they said they talked to Sam about being the new Avengers, and he's like copywriting them, it's like, what? Why not just team up with them, brother?
Yeah.
Why not just make them the new Avengers team? Like,
Oh, I have a theory for that.
I think they were poking fun at themselves, honestly.
oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
my guess.
But everything else about this film, Marvel's heading in the right direction. And they did this with Captain America: Brave New World, but this film, especially in the post-credits scene, you will see really starts to feel like it's building towards something. It's coming together again. It brings together all these characters we haven't seen in a long time, these characters that they've introduced, and we haven't seen them. They haven't built them up and developed them very well. They bring them all back together in this film and develop them wonderfully. Especially Yelena, my favorite MCU character. She is the star of this film, right, Josh?
Yeah, she definitely went up on my character rankings.
Yes. Florence Pugh did such a great job as Yelena. Such a great character, great emotional actress. All the other characters I loved. I loved Ghost. I loved John Walker, Red Guardian, Bucky, Bob. Bob was hilarious. Oh, another negative real quick. Taskmaster dying that quick. Like,
Yeah, that was crazy.
I really hope they eventually do the proper Tony Masters version of Taskmaster, because they just completely wasted that character.
Yeah, bro. They said
And he's a much cooler character.
they said screw
they-
that character. they said, oh wait, we gave you that character in Black Widow. Oh, yeet. And then they said,
You're cooked.
You're cooked. You're cooked.
You're cooked.
They cooked that character.
Yeah, so I hope they do the proper version eventually,
Yeah.
because
Hopefully.
Taskmaster is a way cooler character.
Dude, maybe we get
You
a
need to do
maybe we get a
justice.
multiverse version.
Maybe.
They could do it.
I mean, probably. But what I loved about this film so much is what it reminded me of. The messaging, like you said, Josh, this is a film symbolic of mental health, especially with the character of Bob. Probably my favorite scene in the film was at the end when the group first faces off against Sentry and they realize we can't beat this guy. And so they all go their separate ways, and Yelena's like, we're losers. We've all done bad things. We can't do this. We're not heroes. And then Red Guardian, I love the father-daughter dynamic between them, just the conversation they have where he says, you only focus on the bad. I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. And that reminded me of a conversation I had with our good friend John Arthur, who we will hopefully get on this channel eventually. Hopefully we'll find a movie he's willing to come watch with us.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of a conversation I had with him about Gideon one time. You know, if you read the story of Gideon, you know that God appears to Gideon and he says, mighty man of valor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like Gideon is like cowering in fear and all that, and you're thinking, what mighty man of valor? What the heck is this? So I talked to John Arthur about that, and he said,
There.
I think that God sees us for who we can be. He sees our potential, the potential to work through us and make us more like Christ. And that's how Alexei sees Yelena. That's just this group. And I said in the beginning, I was expecting this to be a story about family and redemption, and that's what it was. These characters have all done bad things, they're all losers, they're all failures, and they come together and form a family. I love what you said, Josh, about community. I just love that stuff. I just related to Yelena and Bob so much in this film. I love the ending when Yelena goes into the darkness and chases after Bob and tries to find him and talk to him.
Yeah.
When she talks to him, saying that, she says, like, I don't know if the darkness will go away, but I promise you I will help make it lighter. And it reminded me of the verse where it says we are to bear one another's burdens.
Mm-hmm.
Yelena and the group decide to be there for Bob in the end and accept him into the group and help him through this, whatever he's going through, this weird split personality power set that he has. And I just love that. It reminded me of how we as Christians are supposed to be there for each other and to bear each other's burdens, show each other Christ's love. And I just love how she's encouraging Bob to face his darkness and to not believe the lies that his darker self is telling him in the void. Like, the void keeps telling Bob that he's alone, he's nothing, but Yelena is right there holding him, whispering into his ear, you're not alone. And then all the group joins in and hugs him and just encourages him to fight And I'm thinking, one, that's what us Christians should do for each other. And two, that's what Jesus does.
Yeah.
He's the voice in your ear telling you, he's that deep, quiet voice deep down that's telling you, you are not alone. And yeah, you've done some terrible things. We all have. We've all done things that are unspeakable. We don't want to talk about it. But he sees our potential. He helps make us better.
Yes.
He conforms us to the image of his son if we will let him. He gives us redemption, helps us become better people, helps us to love. And that's what this film reminded me of. That's what I think it painted a beautiful picture of. I love this film.
Yeah.
I just loved it so much. I'm trying to think about anything else I wanted to talk about. You have any thoughts, Josh? Anything else?
Yeah. Scripture reference on the Gideon passage is Judges 6-8.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, but just go out and see this film. It's a winner for Marvel. All the reviews are right. It's a winner. It's probably one of my top 10 favorite Marvel films. Definitely my favorite film of the year. We'll see if Fantastic Four can beat it. I don't know if it will, though. I think that's all we got. So, Josh, you have anything else to say before we go?
No, close us out, brother.
All right, thank y'all so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Like, subscribe. Guess we'll see y'all in the next video.
Yes, sir.
Ta-ta.
Bye.